Broadcasting from Manhattan Beach and the World Wide Web, you're listening to CHSR HealthyLife.net.
As a service to our listeners, this program is for general information and entertainment purposes only. CHSR HealthyLife.net does not recommend, endorse, or object to the views, products, or topics expressed or discussed by show hosts or their guests. We suggest you always consult with your own personal, medical, financial, or legal advisor.
Time now for the Business Beat. Join your host, Ralph White, along with his co-hosts, Leanne Farmer, Bonnie Landau, and Mary Mollenhoff, and their guests. Business Beat, keeping their finger on the pulse of business to increase the flow of profit. Here now is your host, Ralph White, and the Business Beat.
Welcome to the Business Beat, and there's lots going on in business today. I feel like I've been running like a race. I'm here today with Mary Mollenhoff, my co-host. Hello, Mary.
Hello, Ralph.
How are you today?
I'm doing great, thank you.
We got lots of things going on, lots of things happening with our clients. It's been a really exciting week. Lots of things going on in our Sales to Win class. Lots of opportunities, lots of exciting things happening in business. We're going to have a great guest with us today. So, what's going on in your universe, Mary?
Well, let's see. We have you were talking about the Sales to Win. We've got a lot of Sales to Win classes going on. We've got the beginner class, which are the first 8 sessions, and then we have advanced Sales to Win. And what's really exciting to me is that I notice such a huge difference just from session to session with once people start using the learning, what they've learned. What a huge difference it makes in their being able to close. All of a sudden, the excuse of the economy's horrible and affecting their business leaves their mind. And it's, I'm just doing a better job of setting myself up. So those kinds of things have been really interesting.
Yeah, it's always nice to see people moving forward in their business and making things happen. So I like that. And I like to see people, growing and expanding and developing in their business and developing in their ability to lead and grow and become better entrepreneurs. So who do we have as a guest today, Mary?
Well, we have Pamela Edwards, who is the CEO of Language of Space. And this is a topic, as I mentioned to you, that really interests me. She is a feng shui expert with a resume that is incredibly impressive. She has more than 15 years. She has more than 15 years experience doing what she does, and credentials that are, like I said, extremely impressive. And one of the things that I really appreciate about feng shui is that it's something that personally I've used in the home. So I'm very excited to hear how she's helping business people use this approach to improve their business and their relationships with employees and all that kind of stuff. So this should be really fun.
Pamela, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Great. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. And I'm not as well versed in feng shui as Mary is. I mean, she started telling me all the things that she's done and how she's put different colors in her house and how she moved things around and what have you. And it sounded very interesting. So I'm very interested in hearing, what are some of the things that you've accomplished in business, working with business people, and how this is useful for, having businesses be more successful. So, please give us some examples and share with us some of the things that, how we can use this technology in our business.
Okay, well, Language of Space. We are a unique design consulting firm, and we not only incorporate feng shui, we incorporate environmental design and quantum science. Plus, we also include time and location when we are helping our clients. Our main aim is to help people grow in their business. So when we can help people grow solid companies, that means that they can keep their employees. That means they will have continual growth, that they can become a prominent person in the community. And then on their own personal side, that they can support their families, pay their bills, and also find ways in which they can actualize their goals. All of this and at the same time, we focus on working with the environment to actually be to really procure an environment that really sustains and helps people, and at the same time is friendly with the environment. So we design buildings. We also work with the layout and the interior of the offices. We can choose times in which people will sign a contract that will benefit them. We can determine whether or not the partnership is working out for people. All things that can suit different people in their businesses. We help them give informed choices on how to move forward. So you're asking about feng shui and how it helps people in their business. I'm sure you will agree, we all understand now, and it's becoming more and more sort of a hot topic word, is about energy, and understanding that energy travels in all kinds of frequencies and vibrations to us. And what we know is how to align people to these frequencies that really feed their environment. Just like the sun in our nature feeds us, we find ways in which to connect people in their businesses, how they are set up, how they are aligned, where the offices are, where the people are in relationship to each other. For example, where the CEO can be situated so that he has control over his business, and people are making decisions based on the outcome and the growth of where the company needs to go. All of these are factors that can be considered.
So you work with people in actually designing the whole environment, the building, how things are laid out, based on what they want to accomplish?
Yes, we can work with a person, either their business or home business, to come in and find out what are the influences from the external and the internal layout, the environment, to see how it is supporting the business and where it's going, or where there are obstacles that they are experiencing that are preventing them to reach, the growth with their company, or they are having problems with their employees, many, many different aspects of a business that can affect the bottom line.
Say a business is already, fairly established, and they've been in the building for, and I don't know, say 10 years, and they still have a lease there. And I mean, the space you might have changed, but they can't change it. So, well, how can you work with somebody like that? Someone who's already got the space, and they've already got the furniture, and they've already got everything. Do you go in and just try to redesign things within their just tell me, I don't want to guess.
Many times there are solutions to come into all types of businesses and find out, even though they cannot move, they are, have a lease where they are functioning with their business. There are so many factors to consider: light, color, shape, form, location of person in their office, where they are in relationship to the other members in their office. Sometimes a small amount of changes can create a big outcome as far as how they are functioning in their business. Maybe they're not sitting in a direction that really feeds them. It may mean just changing that direction or moving their desk. There's so many different factors to consider. Space we look at as a silent language, and within that language there are so many aspects that we look at that can be contributing to the growth of a business.
Yeah, it's interesting when I think back in the 90s, I worked for a company called Razorfish. No, it was actually right before the 2000s, late 90s. And Razorfish had just taken over space from a company called eToys. And eToys had gone out of business. And the company before eToy had gone out of business. And then pretty soon, when I joined, the stock was like at $1.46, and by the time I left, not by choice, the stock was at 46 cents. And I kept thinking, the feng shui must be all wrong. There must be something wrong in how they designed this. They've got to bring somebody in, because 3 businesses in a row all go out of business in that same space. And what was interesting is they wouldn't change anything. We literally moved into the same exact, because it was fairly contemporary, very nice looking design. You know, they had great big conference rooms and big tables and everything, but there's just something about it. It did not make for a harmonious work environment. So believe me, I'm a huge proponent of what you're talking about.
Right. Well, if the outside energy is not feeding the building, it doesn't matter who is in that building unless you can make changes to alter how energy comes into the building. That, as you see, that experience continues to happen over and over again. So we actually help people also choose where to move their location, to their business, because location is primary in determining the future potential for a business.
I've actually seen that in a number of locations, that regardless of what business goes in there, they don't succeed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like, okay, a new business moves in there, spends a lot of money to remodel and what have you, and then, shortly thereafter they go out of business.
Well, sometimes there are solutions to actually make those spaces work, but it's best to get rid of the risk. We can come in and we can evaluate. Maybe they need to move the front door. Maybe there's things in the external environment that they can change that will feed the energy in a way that aligns with them, or they just need to move.
I remember when we met that you were talking about improving the efficiency of employees and their health, and how that helped the bottom line. Would you say some more about that?
Well, how people receive energy in their space, how they are aligned with it, can either feed them, which means it creates a opportunity for them to be more comfortable with themselves, that they think more clearly, that they are more in balance with who they are. And when those factors are coming into play, of course, many things in their life begin to, it spills out. Like we are holistic buildings, and when you can enhance one area of a person, it many times spills out over into other areas of your life. Versus the energy is not connecting with you. Therefore, you already will see the symptoms. People are tired, they're lethargic, they're not happy, their communication shows their use of language and how they are feeling. And so by making changes on how they're aligned with energy, it can actually transform themselves personally.
I was wondering something, which is, I'm a very open-minded person, and I'm a big believer in I'll give something a try. When I first tried acupuncture, I didn't know anything about it and gave it a try, and it worked amazingly well for me. And I believe the same thing about feng shui. In other words, I had problems with neighbors, and I bought all my feng shui books, and it said to put what's that called, the bakwa mirror outside, and the neighbors moved, and it really worked. So I was so excited. But my question to you is, how do you position yourself with somebody who's more of a, I gotta see it and feel it. It can't be this sort of, I don't know. How do you sell somebody this idea? Because it's a hard one. It's like that concept of the acupuncture. For me, it's worked wonderfully. But not everyone goes to an acupuncturist. How do you get people to go from just going to a designer to design their space to you, who's going to do more than just design a space? How do you bridge that gap?
Well, what we do is when we have the opportunity to come to someone's business and they have those kind of questions for us, every building, every structure tells a story about its potential and how the people are functioning in their business. So we can right away, without even them telling us anything about a business and how their business is performing, we can already begin to tell you what it is that you're experiencing in your business. And how can we do that? The space, the design, how energy flows through that space, already understanding how space influences people begins to already tell us all the things that are symptomatic about their business.
So you basically, you say to them, I bet you're having this problem, this problem, this problem. They go, yeah, how did you know that?
Yeah, the men in this office are not in power, and the female are overwhelming them, and how do they get things back into balance?
Wow.
or they're find that their expenses constantly are exceeding their income. Why do they keep bleeding money every month? These kinds of situations.
Wow. Well, Ralph and I have been working on a lot of sales courses with people, and normally, you would think, well, boy, it's not hard. It's not hard to find a lot of new prospects. You know how to do that. How do you do? How do you do it? How do you find? Where do you go? Do you network with certain types of businesses to get leads? How do you do that?
Yeah, we actually we do network with people, and it seems to happen word of mouth. We're involved in different organizations. One of them is CEO Space, where we meet a lot of different people growing their businesses, and just by being involved in the communities. Like one person approached us whose business was going down for like 2 years. We came in, and he had already actually used a feng shui person, but we could see that the feng shui that was established was not compatible for his business. So it really takes understanding a lot of different kinds of knowledge to be able to know how to best apply it for a person's specific needs. So by changing the office, by making shifting in where the accountant was sitting, because he had no idea what was going on in his business, he found his business was running him instead of him running the business. And by changing colors on walls, moving different things around, he found that within a month there was already a 20% increase in his sales.
Wow.
Yeah, so he was like amazed. He says, I now have control of my business. And then within a year, he's now looking at actually delving into different businesses because he has the time and the space to also look beyond where he is just now. And the money, of course, the money. He has extra money because his business is run much more efficiently.
Wow.
What other kinds of results? That's an amazing result.
Yeah.
What other kinds of results do you have that you've accomplished with your clients?
Well, some of the results are so amazing that it's hard for me to speak about because it's it's not necessarily, I mean, people are just like, well, how's that possible? I mean, we've had people that have had quadrupled their income in a very short amount of time. We've had...
Oh, I need to talk to you.
The important thing, what I will say to everyone that we work with, is to follow our recommendations, everything that we tell you, because then we find that, people have told us, like, wow, it is just incredible transformations that are happening in their lives, beyond just the things that we have come there to help them with.
Wow.
We can address not just your business, but your personal relationships, but why certain people are not functioning well in your life, or how to make sure that you are going to make an important decision in the right way. We can give you information that will help you. So our objective is to really help people function better in their lives. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So other than moving furniture around in colors, what are some of the other things? Like I said, I heard that you design buildings, and I would imagine they're green buildings.
Yes. They're not all green buildings, but we prefer when that is.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And that's definitely on the the in track. That's the direction that we're going.
Mm-hmm.
So that you're definitely on the the popular track now. It hasn't always been that case, but that's the new direction that things are going.
Yes.
So what else do you do, to support people? In what other kinds of ways can they work with you?
Well, they can work with us, as I said, by if they have questions they want to ask us. We can, decisions that they need to make, we can help them with that. We also have a website, languageofspace.com, where people can go and find out all kinds of more information about us. We are also going to be, actually tomorrow evening, we're going to be giving a presentation at Rainbow Acres in Venice on Washington Boulevard, where people can come and hear us give a talk. And it's a free talk. And then we also are going to be giving another talk at the Mystic Bookstore on April 28th at 7 p.m. And I think there's a $15 charge for that. We're also going to be teaching a class on May 1st on wealth, on relationship, on health, on opportunities, teaching people practical applications on how they can bring this knowledge into their own lives and be able to begin to have more control of the outcome of events for themselves.
Where's the class being held?
So those are the kinds of things that we see, that different ways that people can be helped and learn more about what it is that we have to offer.
Okay. So we're going to take a break here, and if you have any questions that you'd like to ask Pamela, you can call in at 800-555-5453. That's 800-555-5453, and we'll be back in just a minute.
Do you own your own business? What would happen if your computer system crashed? Would you be able to recover in a reasonable amount of time? Left Brain Tech's computer services caters to business owners who want reliable computer systems that work and are backed up in case of emergency. For your entire computer needs, call 888-239-2216 or visit leftbraintechs.com. IT solutions done right with Left Brain Techs. That's 888-239-2216 or leftbraintechs.com.
Making it perfect or nothing else is the company culture at Goldbrecht USA, a premier luxury window and door manufacturer. Doing business since 1889, every window and door is made with old-world craftsmanship and the finest materials, meticulous design, sleek finishing, and a commitment to the environment. They even use environmentally friendly transportation. Made in Germany, available in the U.S., Goldbrecht USA is located in Santa Monica, California. For the world's best windows and doors, visit www.goldbrechtusa.com or call now at 310-393-5540. That's 310-393-5540.
If you're like the 8 out of 10 women that say finding jeans that fit is a problem, well, your problem is solved. Lee Jeans has done extensive research, and they have jeans that fit. There's even an online Lee Fit Finder so you can find the right fit for you. Imagine jeans that instantly slim you with a custom fit and no gap waistband. And guys, kids, Lee has jeans for you too. Click through to Lee's Jeans on the HealthyLife.net advertiser page and get what fits.
Put a little light in your life and keep it shining with Intellectric.net, a full-service lighting design company. If you need a top electrical contracting firm to deal with all facets of electrical, from concept to completion, including repair, call Intellectric.net at 310-838-5486. They can use green technology. They are home automation specialists, and they are high-end residential specialists. With prompt and efficient service, Intellectric.net has over 10 trucks, 28 employees, and on-call electricians available to handle your needs. Educated in state-of-the-art techniques and technology for all your electrical needs. Call dependable, innovative Intellectric.net today at 310-838-5486. Keep your light shining. Call 310-838-5486 or visit online at Intellectric.net.
HealthyLife.net for healthy side effects.
Okay, welcome back. This is Ralph White, and I'm here today with Mary Mullenhoff. And we have
Pamela Edwards
from Language of Space. And we're talking about, how to improve your business with the technology that Pamela uses, which is feng shui and a number of other different technologies that she uses. So, Pamela, I'm interested in, some specific, examples of how you've, someone came in and they were here, and then you worked with them, and now they're here. Can you give me some?
Okay, here, let me give you a couple examples.
Okay.
We have a real estate company that we worked with in actually Costa Rica who were setting up their offices, and as a result, even though it was a downturn market, they found that their business actually was improving. Business was stronger than ever. They were the number one choice for developers to go to actually market their projects because they felt that they were getting the best results from their business. And everyone in that company kept saying, when is Pamela coming back? Because we want to hear more about different ways that they can continually improve the quality of their office and what they were doing. So that was very pleasing to hear.
So when you went into them, give me sort of a description. What did it look like when you went in?
Well, this one was actually a raw space. So we went in and we designed where the offices were going to be, how to structure them, where to put the head of the business, specifically to attract a certain type of energy in relationship to the front door, to his office door, to actually where he's sitting in his desk, and looking at the colors and the lighting and even the colors of their logos and their advertising. All of that was taken into consideration.
So you set up the environment, and they stepped into that environment and become the number one place to go.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
They were the number one choice there was a lot of development projects going on,
okay.
and they wanted to work with them.
Give me an example of somebody who was like in a trashy condition and you went in and changed them around.
Okay, for someone who's not functioning well at all in their space, for example, I had a client who was out of work, looking for a job, and just couldn't seem to get anything moving ahead for her, and she was having health problems. So what we did is she had actually a home office. She went into her home and could see that the home office the energy coming there was just way too harsh where she was situated, and it was creating actually some problems for her eyes. What we did is we moved her to a different room in the house, and within 3 weeks she got a job as a director of an art gallery in San Francisco.
Wow.
So that was extremely impressive for her. We were able to align her with energy that actually fed her, sit her in a position that supported her, and that she could really focus and concentrate well on just preparing herself, moving about and creating a direction for herself.
Okay. What's something that, let's say that I can't afford your services, and I don't know what they cost, or that I'm not ready to bring someone like yourself in, but I want to try something on my own, in my own home office. What's some things that perhaps I could do on my own to just sort of start?
Like a few tips.
Okay, a few tips is number one, and it's probably something that's very well known, is don't be sitting in line with the door to your office. Have yourself situated so that you can see the door and that there's a solid wall behind your desk, so that you can have a support, so that energy can come to you and yet be held there, so that you can use that energy effectively in your work.
So if your chair is right in front of the door, that's probably not a good thing.
That's right. It's going to be hitting you too strongly, and we've had one client like that where they just didn't seem to know what was going on in their business, and by situating them in that type of positioning, their whole world just shifted around them. They just actually couldn't believe it.
Wow, that's
So
awesome.
what if your chair is to the back, the whole room opens up behind your chair?
Is that what happens in your office, Ralph?
Yes.
People want to have their desk situated so it's facing a wall versus facing towards the room. And if you have absolutely no choice, the best I can say is at least have your chair be a high back chair.
It is.
So that it is giving you some support. Although a lot of times when your back is to the door, it's an indication that you may not know everything that's going on in your business. Because you're not facing, it's just like if you're talking to someone and their back is towards you, how is that information coming into them?
Oh, in my case, I put the front of the desk to the beautiful ocean view. And I talk on the phone, so I don't have anybody talking behind me.
Well, we'd have to take a look at your specific layout of your room to see whether you couldn't actually have both.
What about the?
At the same time, pardon?
I'm sorry to interrupt. I was going to ask, what about the actual workspace, like your desk? Any tips there on? where things should be, or, to make you more organized or more efficient when you're sitting at your desk?
Well, always clutter is an issue, and not that I go in and remove people's clutter, although clutter many times represents things that you have not worked out in your life, and depending on the direction or location that clutter seems to continually compile, it will indicate certain aspects about your personality.
So bills that stack up means you just not ready for wealth?
A lot of times, actually, it'll be reflective on on your health.
Yeah.
Certain issues going on inside your body that you're having a problem with. A lot of times, we go into people's homes and we see a particular corner that they just have not taken care of, and it's like, for example, they might be having stomach problems, and we can go say, okay, address this area. We'll make suggestions for changes, and then they'll find that their health situation begins to change and come around.
Interesting. So, Pamela, if one of our listeners wants to get a hold of you, how can they contact you?
Well, our website is languageofspace.com. Our phone number is 310-338-0688. We are on the west side of Los Angeles, and we are going to be having several talks coming up, one of them at the Rainbow Acres in Venice on Washington Boulevard tomorrow evening at 6:30. We also have another event at the Mystic Bookstore on April 28th at 7 p.m. There's a $15 fee for that. And then again, we are going to be teaching a one-day seminar class on May 1st, which will be held in our home, where you'll learn all kinds of information about how to create more opportunities, wealth, relationships, health, teaching you practical applications that will give you a new sense of awareness where you can then take, like Ralph, some of the questions you're having, the people can actually then learn how to take control of their own environments and apply that so that they can see those changes for themselves.
Excellent.
Where is this location of the May 1st class?
It's going to be in our home in Westchester.
Oh, okay.
Is that on the website?
For details and information about that.
Okay.
And for anyone who has been listening on this program, we are glad to have you be part of that, and you can benefit we'll be giving a 20% discount for anything that you need to have addressed.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that. So, Pamela, thank you very much for being on the show. It's been very interesting. I'm now more knowledgeable about Feng Shui and more interested in it. So thank you.
Thank you, Ralph, and thank you for everyone else for this opportunity. And hopefully we'll look forward to more opportunities down the road.
Okay, excellent. Have a nice day.
Bye.
Thank you, you too.
Okay, we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
There are 3 wise women at Possibilities Unlimited, and if you want to improve your business's bottom line, you'll want to get to know them because they want to help you with your business, and they can. Wise web woman Bonnie Landau will help make your website the best it can be. She'll help you with all web-related things, including social media. Wise marketing woman Mary Mullinoff wields her magic to find and obtain sales leads for you, and she'll help you identify and qualify prospects. Leanne Farmer, wise work life woman, hones your customer relations, communications, and sales skills as she teaches you how to manage your work and life in balance. There are options of coaching with one or all 3 wise women. Get to know them now. Call 310-372-8538. That's 310-372-8538, or visit consulting2win.com. That's consulting2win.com.
What does HealthyLife.net and Amazon.com have in common? Well, they're both available on the internet. They both give great value. But most important, most of our positive program hosts and guests are accomplished authors, and their books are available from, you got it, Amazon.com. Now it even gets better than that, because when you're listening on air to a HealthyLife.net host or guest, you can go directly to Amazon.com and you can order your book while you're still listening to your favorite HealthyLife.net program. So when you hear an author you like, go to the homepage of HealthyLife.net and click on Amazon.com.
Demystify the world of social marketing and get it to work for you. You can maximize your market potential in sales, and Bonnie Landau of Possibilities Unlimited can help. Discover how to use Twitter, LinkedIn, and more to market your business. Learn how to expand your prospect base, improve your web presence, but more importantly, get results. Your possibilities are unlimited. Social networking can impact your bottom line in a positive way. Find out how with Bonnie Landau of Possibilities Unlimited. Call today at 310-372-8538. That's 310-372-8538, or visit consulting2win.com, consulting2win.com.
Do you own your own business? What would happen if your computer system crashed? Would you be able to recover in a reasonable amount of time? Left Brain Tech's computer services caters to business owners who want reliable computer systems that work and are backed up in case of emergency. For your entire computer needs, call 888-239-2216 or visit leftbraintechs.com. IT solutions done right with Left Brain Techs. That's 888-239-2216 or leftbraintechs.com.
All positive talk with a mature edge. HealthyLife.net.
Keeping a finger on the pulse of business to increase the flow of profit. Here's Business Beat with your host, Ralph White.
Welcome back. So it was very interesting talking with Pamela about feng shui and how to rearrange your office and be more effective. Also, it was about being more healthy in your office, has people be more productive. So I'd like to look at the Whole Life Matrix, which is on our website at consulting2win.com, and the button at the top says Matrix. And looking at the marketing and sales, and I know aspect of it. And we were talking today in one of our classes in the Sales to Win course, and talking about concerns and looking at the sales process and really looking at that people only buy to fulfill some concern that they have, something that they're trying to satisfy, something that there's a need for. What are their needs? And that as a salesperson, you've really got to determine what those needs are. And Mary, you had some interesting questions and different ways of asking the clients how to determine those needs. What were some of the questions that you were asking on the call?
Well, I think that the key to the way we ask the questions and position them is that we can dig deeper into the what do you call it, the concern.
Right.
So they're going to have a problem, and obviously we've talked about the fact that if you don't have a problem, then no one needs your solution.
No, nobody's going to buy anything from you. I mean, it's like they're not going to buy anything if it doesn't satisfy some concern, some need that they have.
And it's like what Pamela was saying. People have problems with their business, and if it has something to do with the way it's organized, she can go solve the problem.
Right. She goes in and she's got to determine, what's the problem? What are they trying to satisfy? Do I want to increase productivity? Do I want to increase more energy? Do I want people to be happier in the workspace? So she's got to ask questions, of the client to determine what those are.
And actually, with her, what's great is the art of feng shui kind of gives you the answers, because she can walk into the space and say, use loaded questions. Mm-hmm. And loaded questions are the ones where you would go in and say, I bet you're having some issues, like she said, with, the females overpowering the males in your office.
Right.
And they would all nod, yeah, that's right. And so her questions were leading them to say yes a lot, to do a lot of nodding. Those are called closed-ended questions. And what they do is it's like getting to yes. The more yeses you get, the closer you are to closing, because they haven't said no to you, then there's no reason, for the deal not to happen.
Right, because in what we teach in the sales process, where it's a 7-step process where you're looking at establishing a pool of prospects, and then once you've identified a pool of prospects, the second step is the pre-approach, where you're researching and establishing different information about a prospect. And then in the approach, which is the third step, that's where you're establishing their concerns. That's where you're asking questions to determine what their needs are. And, so you're really, you're asking those probing questions. You're asking yes, no questions. You're asking, you're asking open-ended questions to get them to take a look at, what their concerns are. And you want to look at, so concerns are sort of like a layer cake. They may say something is what they want. That's like the frosting. But there's layers underneath that you've got to, probe deeper to find out really what it is their needs are. Because oftentimes the person selling is far more knowledgeable than the buyer. Frequently, the salesperson is much more qualified to make the buying decision than the buyer. And so you've got to probe to find out what the real need is.
And even after they give you the need, then you dig deeper.
Correct.
Because sometimes it's not even the real reason.
Right.
And sometimes they don't realize it's not the real reason. They just see that. It's like we were talking about symptoms versus dealing with the symptom versus the disease.
Right.
If you're only treating the symptoms, the disease is still there.
Correct.
And so we don't want to be salespeople who are selling to people's symptoms. We want to be, going deeper and actually, healing them.
Right.
So that they've figured it out. We've sort of co-developed it together. Decided that you actually have the solution for them, and then you become their consultant, their advisor, and there's no reason why they wouldn't buy from you.
Right, exactly. So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to dig deeper into this conversation about determining the concerns of your clients. We'll be right back.
Do you own your own business? What would happen if your computer system crashed? Would you be able to recover in a reasonable amount of time? Left Brain Tech's computer services caters to business owners who want reliable computer systems that work and are backed up in case of emergency. For your entire computer needs, call 888-239-2216 or visit leftbraintechs.com. IT solutions done right with Left Brain Techs. That's 888-239-2216 or leftbraintechs.com.
Making it perfect or nothing else is the company culture at Goldbrecht USA, a premier luxury window and door manufacturer. Doing business since 1889, every window and door is made with old-world craftsmanship and the finest materials, meticulous design, sleek finishing, and a commitment to the environment. They even use environmentally friendly transportation. Made in Germany, available in the U.S., Goldbrecht USA is located in Santa Monica, California. For the world's best windows and doors, visit www.goldbrechtusa.com or call now at 310-393-5540. That's 310-393-5540.
If you're like the 8 out of 10 women that say finding jeans that fit is a problem, well, your problem is solved. Lee Jeans has done extensive research, and they have jeans that fit. There's even an online Lee Fit Finder so you can find the right fit for you. Imagine jeans that instantly slim you with a custom fit and no gap waistband. And guys, kids, Lee has jeans for you too. Click through to Lee's Jeans on the HealthyLife.net advertiser page and get what fits.
Put a little light in your life and keep it shining with Intellectric.net, a full-service lighting design company. If you need a top electrical contracting firm to deal with all facets of electrical, from concept to completion, including repair, call Intellectric.net at 310-838-5486. They can use green technology. They are home automation specialists, and they are high-end residential specialists. With prompt and efficient service, Intellectric.net has over 10 trucks, 28 employees, and on-call electricians available to handle your needs. Educated in state-of-the-art techniques and technology for all your electrical needs. Call dependable, innovative Intellectric.net today at 310-838-5486. Keep your light shining. Call 310-838-5486 or visit online at Intellectric.net.
HealthyLife.net for healthy side effects.
Welcome back. This is Ralph White and Mary Mullenhoff, and we're talking about sales, and we're looking at in the selling process, where we're looking at the steps of selling, and we're talking about the third step of selling, which is the approach in our model, and where we're talking about really determining the concerns of your client or your customer, and looking at what are their challenges, or what are their problems, or their pains, or their concerns, and the kind of questions that you're asking to bring those out, and really uncovering what their needs are, so that you can actually make a presentation to satisfy those. Because what I've seen is that oftentimes people will get a lead, here's a possibility, here's somebody that you could sell to, and they jump on the phone, and then they call them and start making a presentation. Mm-hmm. And they really, in that process, you could talk for a day and a half about what you do and never hit the need of the client. And then the client says, well, I don't need any of that, so no, thank you, goodbye. Whereas if you spend a little time, researching it in the pre-approach, and then in the approach, in that conversation, asking some questions, open-ended questions, and determining the concerns of the client, then when you get to the next step, which is the presentation, your presentation is ideally suited for the client. You're addressing exactly what their needs are. And so your presentation is fits their needs like a glove. It isn't like you're talking about the quality of your product when their concern is delivery. You're talking exactly about what they're concerned about. And so your presentation fits. If their concern is price, your presentation fits the price. And also in that step of concerns, you've actually established a budget. You've asked, what is their budget? And then they've told you, we don't have a budget. And then you say, great, when there's no budget, I like to use my super expensive, high dollar, gold plated solution. And then they say that, that costs, $3 million. And they say, well, I normally buy this for $20. And you say, oh, well, then you don't want my super duper $3 million solution. That means I have to go to the $20 department. And then so now you know that they got a $20 budget.
Or you know that they're not your target market.
Exactly. They always have a budget. And if they say, well, I still don't have a budget, and you say, well, if we're going to work, then let me, I could come up with an infinite number of solutions. And if I was going to use, array of solutions, should I use the $100 solution or the $20 solution? Which one should I be closer to? Well, you should be closer to the $20 one. And you say, okay, great. So let's look at the $20 solution. Once again, you have a budget. So you're not making a presentation. I see this with people that do websites or marketing. They go in, the person says, I want a website. The person that, dashes back and creates this gorgeous possibility of a $50,000 website, and they run back and they show them with all these fancy bells and whistles, and the person only has a $5,000 budget, which they didn't tell them. And then they say, well, it's $50,000. The person says, oh, my God, no, thank you. Next. Whereas the person is just as capable as anybody else of giving them a $5,000 website if they would have told them that was their budget.
If they would have asked.
Yeah, exactly.
And if they would have dug deep enough, they could have found out. Yeah.
Exactly.
I remember one time when I was in a bidding conference for when I worked for a company that did IT work. And, I was in sales, but they sent to the bidding conference all of the IT guys, the competition did. So we had 30, 40 vendors, and I think I was the only salesperson in that thing. So when we were asking questions, their questions were like, so what platform are you using, and what are the interfaces within, which was all included in the RFP already. So the people presenting included the VP in charge of this whole project. And so my questions were, what's the most important thing to you in getting this resolved? and it was about relationships, how people would communicate with him, how the rest of the staff was going to interact. All of these things, I took copious notes, and I asked more and more questions. I said, well, how have you worked in the past with other vendors? What have been the best, what's the best thing you liked about them? What's the least thing you liked about them? What really bugs you? Always want to know what bugs them about either who they're using currently or who they've worked with before in other departments, but that, just outside vendors and all of that. So it was I think a school system, a government agency of some sort, and so they have a very specific procurement process. However, that committee, I could tell who was going to make the decisions. And so, again, during this bidders conference where there were 30 other people, I kept asking those questions. And there were no follow-up questions from other people about what I had asked. They were all about systems. Now, this was a company we had no relationship with. It was $1.5 million project. It had to do with website. It had to do with coordinating with their internal systems, all that kind of stuff, which I knew our people could handle. But when I started the proposal, when I wrote it, I said, we heard you. Here's what we heard. And yeah, it included all the details and all about how we can handle the platforms and all that kind of stuff. But the very first executive summary page was all about, we don't do this, we don't do this, we don't do this. We do this, 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 this. You got a person to call. There's always going to be a specific relationship. You'll always know what the budget is. We have a workforce tracking thing. It was a whole system that they use when they do these kinds of projects where you can always tell what stage it's at and if it gets stalled, what happens next. And those were the things they were concerned with. And we answered them perfectly. We won that bid, and it was blind. There were no relationships. They don't even remember who I was because I was just a salesperson. I didn't even deliver the proposal. But when they went to deliver the proposal, ours was at the top of the list. And we were not the cheapest, but we were the only ones who actually heard what they had to say about what they wanted, both in the relationship and in the project.
Right.
Plus, because we were more expensive, we did go ahead and do one of those mock, here's what it would look like and what's so cool about the way we do it. And it was beautiful. It was just a mock, but it was beautiful. And it just got them enough to want it so bad that they bought it. They bought the service.
Yeah. So you did in your pre-approach, in the proposal, you listened to what the concerns of the client was, and your presentation in the bid, you tailored it to their concerns. And that's what got you the bid.
But the key is we used it, because a lot of people will ask the right questions. They'll get all that information, and their proposal will still be a numbers and time proposal. Yeah. It needs to include the rest, all of it. Yeah. Here's what we heard you say, and here's how we're going to handle it.
Yeah. It's like we have a gentleman in the Sales to Win 2 class that's a contractor. And he's been working with us about 8 months. He's worked with us in the past, and then has been off for about 1.5 years, and then he's re-engaged with us. And he didn't have any sales, and he was as a contractor, and he started back with us, set up his sales pipeline had dried up. He re-engaged, he set up the pipeline, got back in the action, and actually sold out his work as a contractor. His work is sold out through October of this year, which is his annual year, which is unheard of in his industry. And he bid a job and actually got it for almost $1 million this week. And he said that he told the client he was not the cheapest and still got the job. And it was out of, how he listened to the client and told them, I don't use the cheapest contractors. I do, top quality work. And they said, we don't want the cheapest. And so he still got it. So we'll be right back and taking a break, and we will be right back. Thank you.
Make Making it perfect or nothing else is the company culture at Goldbrecht USA, a premier luxury window and door manufacturer. Doing business since 1889, every window and door is made with old-world craftsmanship and the finest materials, meticulous design, sleek finishing, and a commitment to the environment. They even use environmentally friendly transportation. Made in Germany, available in the U.S., Goldbrecht USA is located in Santa Monica, California. For the world's best windows and doors, visit www.goldbrechtusa.com or call now at 310-393-5540. That's 310-393-5540. Whether your business is in products or services, one thing you need to be successful is sales. And now, you can take the mystery out of selling and discover how to consistently produce top sales results with Possibilities Unlimited 8-week Sales to Win course. The Sales to Win course can be attended by anyone from anywhere because it's given by conference call. You'll be taught by top sales and marketing experts all about the sales process, and you'll be given top techniques and tips. It's all simply broken down for you and presented in a stress-free environment. But the best thing is, it's so affordable. It's money well spent because you'll make even more money back with your increased sales. Don't wait. Enroll in the Sales to Win course for yourself and your sales staff right now. You won't want to miss this opportunity to raise your bottom line. Call 310-372-8538. That's 310-372-8538.
Uplifting Talk. HealthyLife.net.
All right, Mary, we come to the end of another show. It was very interesting. I've learned about feng shui. I've learned about asking for concerns and asking a lot of questions. I think it was very interesting. So the play for the week is to create a list of questions that you're going to ask your customers and your clients during the sales process to determine what their concerns are.
To dig deeper.
To dig deeper, right. And send for the client or for the listener that comes up with the best list of questions, send your list to me, Ralph at consultingtowin.com. The winner, the person that comes up with the best list, gets to get a half hour of coaching with Mary Mullenhoff.
Woohoo!
Yay! So send the list in, and it's to Ralph at consultingtowin.com, and you get a half hour of sales coaching with Mary Mullenhoff. So have a great week, and we'll be back next week with more coaching on Business Beat. Have a great week.